Hey Abby, how are you?
Good, thanks. Nice to see you.
Good.
How are you?
Good. And you? Good, thank you. I bet you thought you were done with this.
Yeah,
And
I
then
know.
you've
God damn
been
it.
yeah. What made you want to revisit it again?
They're just such an irresistible group of actors. I love actors. I love what they bring to, the script and the show and the way they just lift the words from the page. And I love Nicola and Stephen and Fiona and Annabel and Deborah and those just wonderful, those wonderful groups. So and Ian. And so I guess I wanted to get the opportunity to kind of have a moment where, we're 2 years on. What does it mean to regroup when Hannah's in such a different place than when we left her? I think she was at the start of like kind of accepting she might be on her own for a while. And we've seen her go through two, we in that 2 years, she's kind of found herself and she's found her place in the world, but she now finds herself in this very different place to Nathan. And so the chance to kind of bring them and displace them and take them away from the kind of the walk and talk of London and the office and that kind of the heels and the shoulder plaids, and let them kind of let their hair down and get some sunshine and have fun and have chaos and go to a great wedding just felt really irresistible when the BBC offered it to us. And they've just been hard to leave behind. And I love those characters. And I like the idea that, we kind of had a sense it might go out at Christmas. And I like this idea that this was going to be a really lovely escape for those people who love the split, and maybe for those people who don't know it, but this might be a way in again. So yeah, it was a real chance to kind of go away and have my version of Mamma Mia, I guess.
There's a great tradition in of British television of taking specials abroad. Was there like a fun thing for you to sort of try and avoid the usual things, but also to play around with that kind of let's all go on holiday
Oh
thing?
yeah, 100%. I mean, it's got all the tropes, it's got sangria, it's got Spanish dancing, it's got, sunsets and romantic walks, and it's got, the most beautiful vineyard in the heart of Barcelona, just outside, that we just fell in love with. And so the landscape of that place is beautiful, but also the culture, slightly different culture, something that, that this family are walking into something quite alien, something they're not used to. And, we've seen this very kind of quite glamorous yet very middle class family in London, but this is another world. This is a world of an expansive kind of empire of winemakers. It's about seeing Guy Allen being introduced to his family, and also seeing what it's like when Hannah has to start to let go of Liv, her daughter, when she realizes she's growing into another family. So it's about a mother letting go of her daughter, but it's also about a woman finding her place again. And there's something about taking them away to another country that allows them all to go a little bit wild and, get a little bit silly and a little bit crazy, and let Hannah open her heart to change and difference, whilst also kind of coming to understand what her relationship is with Nathan, who's now remarried and has a very different life to her and has young children. And so it was just a fun opportunity to bring the comedy of that as well. What would happen if you collided these two worlds, and what would it happen if someone you raised children with suddenly was doing that all again, and yet you were like free? And what's Hannah going to do with that freedom? So I think suddenly decided of going to Barcelona for this perfect kind of 3 days that we know is going to go horribly wrong before it goes right was just a really gorgeous thing to be able to write and to be able to make.
Having worked with these guys again now, do you feel like there's still some story in you to bring a fourth season of this?
This, I think every writer who's created a world and created a group of actors, you never leave those characters behind. I still dream of characters and shows I've written years ago. So I think you carry them through. And I think, but it's a little bit like letting a field go fallow for a while. You need to let, we all, what's been amazing in those 9 years is that I've seen all those actors do other incredible work. And I think that feeds and hones and builds their talent. And for myself, it's good for me to go away and write some other stuff before I come back again. I mean, never say never about that show, because they're endlessly interesting to me. But also, I've been writing that show for kind of 8, 9 years. And so to evolve, all those actors have grown up. So, when we first met Fiona, she was like a nanny and just about to get married and not sure what she was doing in the world. And now we've met her, several years on, in TV land, it's not so long, but in real land, this is an actress who's evolved and grown. And we now see her as a woman who, has a relationship is on her relationship and has gotten through loss and is, inheriting children. And then you see Nina, who's dealt with her own addictions and is now kind of a single mom. And then you see Hannah, who when we first met was married and what we thought looked like she was in a perfect relationship, really have to find herself again. And what does it mean to be in your 50s when you're an empty nester and your kids have left and you're no longer in a relationship, and what does that next phase in your life look like? So there's always different stages in these characters' lives which are fun to write. So I never say never, but I feel really lucky that I got to work with these actors and we got to make 3 great series, and this feels like the kind of, you know, icing on the top of the cake, really.
Yeah, brilliant. Finally, just remind us when it's going to be on, really.
I'm not sure if you've announced the actual date, so I'll hand over to Frankie for that, but I think somewhere around Christmas, yeah.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you so, so much for giving me so much time, and congratulations again.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!